Our next session is John O'Keefe session, that is named after the scientist John O'Keefe, who received the Nobel Prize in Physiology or Medicine in 2014 for the discovery of cells that constitute a positioning system in the brain. Here our speakers will talk over the past, present and future of oral antidiabetics. The chairpersons for this session are Dr. Pawan Amin from Vadodara and Dr. Karshit Joshi from Vadodara. May I please request Dr. Karshit Joshi to introduce our speaker?
Good morning, all of you. Thank you so much, Vasekon. I'm Dr. Karshit Joshi from Barodara. Now we have Dr. Birju Mori sir, who is Director and Chief Diabetologist, Mori Diabetes Center, Rajkot. So we'll give you information about the metformin. So I request Dr. Birju Mori sir, please to start, sir.
Hello. First of all, I would like to thank the organizers of SwasthyaCon 2021, Dr. Mayur Patel sir, Dr. Yash Patel, and the entire team of SwasthyaCon for giving me an opportunity to be a part of this prestigious conference of theirs. Today, I am going to speak something about past, present, and future of OAD, and the subgroup allotted to me is metformin. This is an age-old molecule. A lot has been spoken about and discussed about this molecule since decades now, and I will just try to summarize the entire past, present, and the future of metformin. Let's see how metformin evolved. Metformin is derived from the plant Galega officinalis. It is commonly a goat's rue, a French lilac, Italian fitch, and a professor's weed. It is mainly found as bushes along the countryside of Britain, France, and Europe. However, the plant is extremely toxic with the potential to induce severe hypotension, tracheal frothing, paralysis, and even death. The antidiabetic property of this herb was first described in the 17th century by Culpeper, who was an English botanist and a physician. In his work A Treatise to Aurum Potabile, published in 1656 AD, he described the blood glucose lowering effect of this plant and its effect on other symptoms of diabetes like polyuria and polyphagia. But the real breakthrough came with the work of French diabetologist Jean Sterne. In collaboration with Denis Duval and others, he evaluated the antidiabetic effect of flumemine in animals. Flumemine, now known as metformin, showed a powerful hypoglycemic effect. He coined the term glucophage, meaning glucose eater, for metformin and published his results in 1957. Thus, glucophage or metformin, now virtually is a medical household name, was born. Now, the first clinical trial was by Jean Stern in 1950s in France. It has been used in India since 1960s, but US FDA approved metformin only in 1995 for the treatment of diabetes. Since then, it is one of the most commonly utilized medicines internationally, one of the first oral anti-diabetic agent to achieve a place in WHO's list of essential medications. Now coming to the present status of metformin, it is the first line drug for diabetes, either as a monotherapy or a combination therapy, unequivocally crowned by ADA, EASD, American Association of Clinical Endocrinologists, our RSSDI, and almost all international bodies as one of the frontline warriors in the management of type 2 diabetes. Let's see the present ADA status 2020. As I have just mentioned, it is the first line therapy, metformin, and lifestyle modification for any new diabetic. Let's see AAC 2020. Again, lifestyle therapy or lifestyle modification followed by metformin monotherapy if needed, a combination of metformin plus some other oral or injectable anti-diabetic, and its place persists even in triple drug therapy. So metformin is there everywhere. Let's see RSSDI therapeutic wheel. Our own doctor from Gujarat has designed this wheel, and again metformin is there at the center of the wheel, and it remains as the hub, and rest of the anti-diabetic agents are the spokes in the management of this wheel. Let's see in short the mechanism of action. It improves insulin sensitivity and reduces resistance by increasing peripheral glucose disposal, reduced hepatic glucose output, improves intestinal anaerobic glucose metabolism. Let's see the pleiotropic effects other than on the insulin sensitivity. It reduces fasting hyperinsulinemia, stabilizes body weight, favorable impacts lipid profile, better CRP and other adipocytokines reductions. Antithrombotic property is well established, and it also reduces endothelial inflammation. So where should we use this with caution? Renally impaired patient, hepatic impairment, cardiorespiratory insufficiency, septicemia, alcoholic abuse, and very rarely seen lactic acidosis. Metformin is the crown prince because it is extensively studied molecule, good safety profile, cost effective in a especially developing country like India, can be combined with any other anti-diabetic molecule and has relatively less adverse effects. So talking about the adverse effects, what can be those? Most common ones are GI disturbances like flatulence, indigestion, diarrhea, etc. Vitamin B12 malabsorption, which is relatively less common compared to GI disturbances, can also be there. But usually the incidences of GI disturbances are less in extended release or sustained release preparation as compared with immediate release. And if so, we can start with low dose of metformin and slowly up titrate as and when needed. That is, start low, go slow, and then GI disturbances can be avoided. So current scenario of metformin and COVID, this was a recent article published in Lancet. Around 15,000 patients were studied. Out of them, 6,000 odd patients were included, and it was significantly associated with reduced mortality in women with obesity or type 2 diabetes who were admitted to hospital for COVID. So it had a favorable impact on COVID recovery as well. Future. What can we talk about the future? Metformin is here to stay in future, definitely as a first line of treatment for diabetes, is in treatment for PCOS, in pre-diabetes, as well as in GDM. Let's see some other aspects. Metformin and cancer. Metformin is found to inhibit growth, survival, and metastasis of different type of tumor cells, including those from the breast, liver, bone, pancreas, endometrial, colorectal, kidney, and lung cancers. Its anti-cancer properties can be direct regulation of cell metabolism like activation of AMPK, inhibition of mTORC, a key regulator of cell growth, suppresses mitochondrial complex 1 by inhibiting reactive oxygen species, and also indirect benefits by regulating angiogenesis, fibroblast, and macrophages. A talk about metformin and obesity. Its potential action of weight loss might be because of increasing mitochondrial biogenesis, decreasing fatty acid uptake, stimulating thermogenesis, and ability to enhance glucose metabolism. Something about liver diseases. Might be a potential agent in the treatment of NAFLD, NASH, and hepatocellular carcinoma. Probable favorable actions might be induction of AMPK activation, synthesis of adipokines like TNF alpha, interleukin 6, etc. Glucose and lipid metabolism definitely helps in liver pathologies. Talk about CV diseases and metformin. It is a well-established fact that metformin helps in CV diseases, especially by inhibiting alpha dicarbonyl mediated modification of alpha lipoproteins. It improves HDL function. It improves endothelial oxidative stress and reduces endothelial inflammations. Something about aging. We all would like to stay young. Now, metformin would help diabetics in doing so by acting on mitochondrial complex by reducing production of reactive oxidative species, also activated AMPK, thereby reducing cellular inflammation, also found to regulate microbiome, and also reduces neuronal injury and improving neuronal health. Something about renal disease. According to certain studies, metformin could ameliorate kidney fibrosis, may be mediated by AMPK signaling pathway, also associated with reduction of cellular inflammation and oxidative stress. So to summarize, past, present, and future, metformin can be and is used in treatment of diabetes, acting on liver, muscle, intestine. Renal helps in anti-aging property, cancer, direct and indirect actions, reduces obesity, helps in liver pathologies, and also helpful in CV diseases. So the milestones. first clinical trial in 1950, US FDA approval in 1995, first line therapy somewhere around 2000, currently pre-diabetes, PCOS, GDM, and what we know about the future, cancer, aging, NFLD might be a potent agent for the treatment in future. Nothing in life is to be feared, it is only to be understood. This quote was by a famous physicist, Marie Curie, which aptly reflects the emergence of metformin from a poisonous herb to one of the most widely prescribed medicines for type 2 diabetes currently worldwide. With this, I would like to end my talk and thank you very much, the organizers, for giving me an opportunity to be a part of your prestigious conference.
Thank you, Dr. Birju Mori.